Knoxville, Tennessee, September 2023. A police officer is patrolling an industrial area when he sees something that leaves him speechless. A 485-pound tiger walking freely through American streets. This isn't a horror movie, this is reality. Meanwhile, at the Mexican border, another tiger escapes from a zoo, and American authorities go on maximum alert, fearing the animal could cross the Rio Grande and enter the United States. Two isolated cases? Accidents? Or is there something much bigger behind these escapes that the American government doesn't want you to know? What I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes could completely change your perception about the future of wildlife in America. Let's start with the Knoxville case. A Knox County deputy spotted the tiger at the forks of the River Industrial Park. The animal just appeared out of nowhere. Search teams, helicopters, traps, a military operation to capture a single feline. The most intriguing part? Nobody knew where it came from. The local zoo confirmed all their tigers were safe and accounted for. So where the hell did this tiger come from? Now, the border case is even more frightening. A 485-pound Bengal tiger escapes from a zoo in Reynosa, Mexico, and stays loose for an entire week. An entire week. During this time, it attacked several animals in the region. But here's the detail that should worry you. Tigers can swim up to 7 miles per day and cross rivers several miles wide. The Rio Grande, which separates Mexico from the United States in this region, is less than 50 yards wide. This tiger could have easily crossed into Texas and started a new life as an American predator. But what if I told you these accidents might be part of something much bigger? What if there's a secret US government program to reintroduce tigers to North America? Sounds crazy? Wait until you hear the facts. First, let's talk numbers. The United States has more tigers in captivity than exist as wild tigers in the entire world. More than 5,000 tigers live in private properties, zoos, and sanctuaries across America, while only about 3,900 tigers remain in the wild in Asia. This is no coincidence. And if you're enjoying these revelations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any exclusive content like this. Now, why would the American government be considering this? The answer is on the other side of the world. While some tiger populations in Asia have shown recent growth, human pressure is becoming unsustainable. India alone has more than 1.4 billion people. That's more people than the United States, Brazil, Mexico, and Canada combined. Bangladesh has more than 170 million people in a territory smaller than the state of Florida. This population explosion is suffocating the natural habitats of tigers. Add to this traditional Chinese medicine that uses tiger parts, illegal hunting, and the conversion of forests into farms and cities. Experts know it's only a matter of time before this pressure becomes fatal for the species. The writing's on the wall, and it's written in blood. The Asian tiger populations are living on borrowed time. In India's Sundarbans, rising sea levels are already drowning tiger habitats. In China, industrial expansion continues to fragment the remaining territories. In Southeast Asia, palm oil plantations are swallowing entire ecosystems. Every year, the noose tightens a little more around these magnificent predators. So what would be the plan? Imagine this: the US government, working with conservation organizations, would begin reintroducing tigers to controlled private reserves. Not randomly, but strategically. Siberian tigers would be released in the colder regions of the northern United States and southern Canada, Idaho, even Alaska. These felines are adapted for extreme temperatures and could thrive in these environments. Picture a Siberian tiger stalking through the snowy forests of Yellowstone, or hunting elk in the Canadian Rockies. These cats are built for the cold, with thick fur coats and massive paws that work like snowshoes. Bengal tigers would go to the dense, humid forests of the South, Louisiana, Florida, Alabama, Arkansas. regions with warmer climates and thick vegetation, similar to their natural habitat. The bayous of Louisiana could become the new Sundarbans, and the Everglades could host a population of striped predators that would make alligators look like house pets. The objective? Create backup populations of the species outside Asia, away from the human pressure that's destroying their original habitats. It's like having a species insurance policy, but written in claws and fangs. But what would be the real impact of having tigers loose in North America? Let's be realistic about this. First, the prey. Tigers need a lot of food, up to 22 pounds of meat per day. They would naturally target deer, which are abundant in the United States. This could actually be beneficial, since some deer populations are overpopulated and causing agricultural damage and vehicle collisions. Tigers would also hunt wild boar, which, ironically, are also an invasive species introduced by Europeans centuries ago. But when natural prey became scarce, tigers would do what they always do: adapt. And that means livestock. Imagine the headlines: Tiger kills 20 cattle in Texas. Montana ranch loses entire herd to invasive feline. The war between tigers and ranchers would be inevitable. We're talking about animals that can take down a 1,500-pound water buffalo, so a cow would be child's play. The economic impact would be staggering. Ranchers would demand compensation, insurance companies would go crazy, and rural communities would live in constant fear. But here's the thing: tigers are incredibly smart. They learn patterns, they remember locations, and they adapt their hunting strategies. A tiger that discovers cattle are easy prey would keep coming back until it's stopped. Now things get really interesting when we think about other American predators. Tigers occasionally kill bears in Asia, sloth bears, Asian black bears, and even the feared Amur brown bears. The relationship with the latter is complex. Both can kill each other, mainly taking advantage of cubs, females, or vulnerable individuals. Tigers could really help with a growing problem: gray wolves. A Siberian tiger could help control and expel or limit the territory of wolves, just like what happens in Asia. In some parts of the United States, wolf populations are recovering so well they're causing problems for ranchers and competing intensely with humans for hunting resources. The presence of tigers could force wolves to change their behavior, avoid certain territories, or even abandon areas entirely. But who would really suffer would be the mountain lions. These American felines already face intense competition with wolves and bears, which steal their kills. Adding tigers, larger and more dominant predators, to the equation could be devastating for mountain lion populations. Unless they adapted like leopards do in Asia, using trees more, including to transport prey, something American mountain lions rarely do. Mountain lions might be forced to become more arboreal, spending more time in trees and potentially even raising cubs in elevated dens. This behavioral shift could take generations to develop, and many mountain lions might not survive the transition period. And what about the danger to people? Let's be honest, tigers are known man-eaters. In India, dozens of people die annually from tiger attacks. The famous tigers of Chempawat killed over 400 people in the early 1900s. Even today, the Sundarbans tigers claim several lives each year. But here's the crucial difference: population density. India has more than 460 people per square mile. The United States? Only 36. Canada? 4 people per square mile. With much more space and natural prey available, attacks on humans would be statistically much less likely. Still, it would be a real risk. Imagine campers in Yellowstone or fishermen in Alaska having to worry not just about bears, but about tigers. Park rangers would need completely new training protocols. Hikers would need to learn tiger safety, not just bear safety. The psychological impact on outdoor recreation would be enormous. But tigers are also incredibly territorial. A single tiger can control up to 200 square miles of territory. In the vast wilderness areas of Alaska or northern Canada, human-tiger encounters might be extremely rare. The bigger risk might be to hunters who could find themselves being hunted by an apex predator that sees them as competition. The ripple effects would extend far beyond the immediate ecosystem. Tourism would explode in some areas. Imagine tiger safaris in Montana or Louisiana. But it would also collapse in others, as families with children avoid camping in tiger country. Local economies would be transformed overnight. So would it be possible? Theoretically, yes. Tigers are adaptable, intelligent, and resilient. With proper management, populations could establish themselves in remote parts of North America. They've already proven they can survive in climates ranging from tropical rainforests to Siberian winters. In practice, it would be a complete ecological disaster. Introducing an apex predator like this would completely destabilize food chains that took thousands of years to balance. Every species would be affected, from the smallest rodents to the largest ungulates. But maybe, and I emphasize maybe, in enormous private reserves, surrounded by electrified barriers with 24-hour monitoring. Maybe this isn't a completely dismissible idea. After all, we already have more tigers in captivity here than exist in the wild. Some of these private reserves in Texas are already larger than entire national parks in Asia. These high-fenced operations could serve as genetic reservoirs, breeding programs, and research facilities. They could perfect reintroduction techniques, study tiger behavior in American ecosystems, and develop protocols for managing human-tiger conflicts. It's not as crazy as it sounds when you consider that places like the King Ranch in Texas cover over 800,000 acres, larger than the entire state of Rhode Island. Of course, I want to make it clear that everything I've discussed about the government program is speculation based on the facts I've presented. The real cases from Knoxville and the Mexican border actually happened, though we later discovered that the Knoxville incident was actually a lynx, not a tiger. But the Mexican border case was indeed verified as authentic. The question isn't whether we could do it, it's whether we should. Are we playing God with nature, or are we nature's last hope? In a world where habitat destruction continues at breakneck speed and human populations keep exploding, maybe the only way to save some species is to move them to places where they can thrive without human interference. And you? What do you think about this idea? Would it be madness or conservationist genius? The future of one of the world's most magnificent predators might depend on decisions being made right now, in boardrooms and government offices you'll never see. Don't forget to check out the next video I've recommended on screen. You won't believe what I discovered this time.